Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahushai, Barakta Yahweh, Barakta Yahushai, Barakta Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Ukakadosh. Double honors and salutations to the elders and apostles of great mystery and the well, to the Akim and the Falcons of the earth, Shalom, Shalom, Shalom. In these last days and times, alright? Times of bitterness, alright? Times for the bitterness, according to prophecy. Yeah, so you see on your screen this agenda of these elites buying up arable farmlands that are suitable for farming and grazing and all that stuff. And it's just the tactics of these elites and their cronies to have more power, more control over people's lives. Because when you control access to farmland, you control a lot of arable farmland, you're able to dominate the market. You're able to price out your local, small farmers that don't have the capabilities to compete in the market because the market is dominated by by the big dogs. And that's the reason why brothers need to understand about agribusiness. All these big corporate firms that are listed on the U.S. Stock Exchange and they own farmlands, and you just see the type of power they yield over so-called government agencies like the USDA, the FDA, and the DEA. Ever since the DA, even the FBI too. You have the Bureau of Land Management, you have the Department of the Interior. So many government agencies are just in the crosshairs of these elites that are just buying up farmlands, man. That basically run America. So it's just crazy, man. Then you see Moab too is buying up farmland in America, and it just shows you the plan of the elites of this world, man, to wage war against the people, because the power to own land is a very lucrative aspect of their dominion on the face of the earth. So you can imagine what they can do when they decide to shut down, production, and that's going to cause a lot of chaos, population control. A lot of people just have to be, screaming and yelling, begging for mercy from the overlords. That's why the Lord Hamashiach Yahushai has to return and deliver our people, because when you have evil, sinister individuals like Mr. Gates and his so-called cronies, pushing this agenda of depopulation, what do you think the Lord Yahushua is going to do? He has to step in to stop the agenda, right? So it's not just one man, that's doing this whole thing, man. It's a host. It's a host of them, all right? So I'm going to get a quick precept from the book of Genesis chapter 27, because all this is just about, these Edomite elites, man. They want to have the birthright back that Lord Yahweh Shai, through his son Yahushai, bestowed on our forefather Yashar, formerly known as Yaquab. So the book of Genesis chapter 27, we're going to read from verse 26 to 29. It shows you how serious, this blessing is. This blessing of, how you say, divine providence, an eternal blessing, how it's not to be told with, it's not to be taken for granted. So Genesis chapter 27, verse 26 says, and his father, Isaac said unto him, this Isaac talking to our forefather Jacob, come near now and kiss me, my son. And he came near and kissed him, and he smelled the smell of his raiment. and blessed him, and said, See, the smell of my son is the smell of a field which the Lord Yahweh had blessed. Therefore, Elohim give thee the dew of heaven, and the fatness of the earth, and plenty of corn and wine. All right, and that's wealth right there. When you own land, waterways, rivers, ponds, lakes, lagoons, and all that stuff, that's money right there. And to add the gems underneath, the gold, the silver, the bauxite and all that stuff below the earth's surface, all those precious stones, emeralds, you name it, malachite, all those emeralds and all that stuff, all those precious gemstones. It just shows you how much of a blessing it is to own land. And then it says in verse 29, Let people serve thee, and nations bow down to thee. Be Lord over thy brethren, and let thy mother's sons bow down to thee. Cursed be every one that curseth thee, and blessed be he that blesseth thee. Yep. And that right there is it's a heavy moment in history of the world. The history of our forefather, Jacob, formerly Israel, formerly known as Jacob. So it just shows you, man, the importance of having an inheritance. All right, and these elites are so upset, man. And when you look at all this agenda for all this mass vaccination shenanigans, that's all it boils down to. They want to get the birthright back. You look at all these incidents of Planned Parenthood. That's another aspect of them trying to push for ownership. To recover that birthright. All right, and the whole agenda for 9/11. That's what it's all about. They want the birthright back, so they're willing to cause all types of carnage on the face of the earth. World War I, World War II, that's all it's all about. They want dominion. They want that dominion back so bad that they are willing to do anything, and then you remember the genocide against the North American Indians, against the so-called Latin tribes in the South Americas and and Central America and the Caribbeans, and then you remember the genocide against so-called Negroes from the west coast of Africa, from Europe, from wherever they are in the Middle East, and how they wage war against our forefathers, just because they wanted the birthright back. So, it's no surprise, when you have chaos. That's all it is, man. They want the birthright back by any means necessary. So I'm going to read from the book of Psalms, chapter 37, right, verse 11. It says, But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Yeah, and that's what the Lord has already set in motion, man. And the Israelites have been blessed, with the opportunity, permanent opportunity, forever and ever. It's an eternal blessing, to know that the Lord is watching over you, to make sure that His words comes to pass. And then you read verse 12. Let me read verse 11 again. It says, Psalm 37 verse 11, But the meek shall inherit the earth, and shall delight themselves in the abundance of peace. Yeah. So all these folks you see on the screen, man, it's Edomite elites, man. They know about peace, man. Their job is to wage war on the face of the earth and fight for control, of people's people's resources, man. They don't really care about the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Yahweh Shema Shai Shema Kwakadash. All right. So, these folks don't care about peace. They don't care about justice. All they care about is just having control of the earth, and they think that is going to grant them access to having the birthright back. That's not how the Lord set it up. And then verse 12 says, the wicked plotteth against the just, and gnasheth upon him with his teeth. Yeah, and that's what it's elites do, man, through their so-called peons and all these agencies, whether it's through the law enforcement part, the judiciary part, the executive part, even corporate America. That's all they're about, man, and they always want to use the religious aspect to keep our people subservient, all right? So verse 13 says, the Lord shall laugh at him, for he said that his day is coming. So the end of Esau's rulership is on the way, man. That's why they're in a rush to push this jab campaign, man, and they're upset, Even Sleepy Joe is talking about that patience is wearing thin. Isn't patience supposed to be a virtue? Yeah, so it just proves to you, man, that these elites are upset. They're desperate. These Amalekites that control America and around the world, not to call themselves Jewish, but they're just, Amalekites of the nation of Edom. They're just desperate, man, So they corrupt the music, corrupt the educational system, the financial system, the medical, slash healthcare system, and they're just upset. They're just desperate, man. Desperate. All right. So Isaiah chapter 45, verse 17, it says that, but Israel, all right, the so-called Negroes, so-called Latinos, and the so-called Native Americans spread out through the four corners of the earth, all right, those are the Israelites that the Bible speaks of, shall be saved in the Lord Yahweh, Bashima Shah, Bashima Kakadash, with an everlasting salvation. So all these folks, man, Bill Gates and all this changing thing, all this Macron, Queen Elizabeth of England, son Charles, and everybody else, Beatrice of the Netherlands, the so-called Pope, and those Arab sheiks and sultans and everyone else over there in Southeast Asia and East Asia, whatever, Japan, they're just there, man, to enjoy their salvation at this time, their riches, their wealth, and their influence. But in the world to come, there's nothing for them but servitude under our nation, under us. So that's why it's necessary, to stick with the Lord's plan, all right? Then it says, ye shall not be confounded nor ashamed, world without end. Yeah, so our rulership under the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua is going to be an everlasting dominion. And that's why these elites are so upset and angry, because when you come in contact with them, you can always feel the vibes of them. Like, time's running out, hurry up, So, I mean, I don't even have time to talk to them, man. Just say, good morning, how you doing? It's a pleasure meeting you. I'm going to help you out with a couple of things, and that's about it. The job description is done. But then you ask yourself, oh Lord, why am I in this position? It's just to witness, the folks that the Lord will make your servants in the future, So the book of Daniel chapter 7 verse 27, it says this. It says that, and the kingdom, all right, this is the kingdom of the Lord Hamashiach Yahushua is about to usher in very soon, all right. It says, and the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, that's the Israelites, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Yeah, so that's our blessing, you know. That's our blessing. So whatever, these elites are desperate and crying about and pushing their propaganda on the news 24/7 about, it's just not going to change anything, man, right? And they're desperate, man. They're buying up land in Africa too, buying up land in South America, in Asia. So you understand how desperate they are to achieve their new world order, all right? So with that, Hakim, you just have to understand that, hey, we're in a good case, man. Even though we don't have much physically, but spiritually we have a lot, all right? So I just gotta keep on saying, Kal Halam La Yahweh Bashima Shabashima Kwakadas Shalom Shalom Shalom.